Thank you for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. This is episode 102. Today is about affection. And we often think about affection as holding on and, bringing someone close. But today we're going to talk about letting go. Really, life is all about letting go. I hate to say that, but it's a fact. For our own selves, we have to let go of our expectations. Sometimes we have to let go of our own ideas in order to actively and accurately listen to another person's thoughts and ideas. We have to learn how to let go of sometimes our own health and strength as we get older, of our own dreams about what we thought life would look like, and we have to learn how to embrace the reality of what we have. And as long as you have a hold of one thing, there's no possibility of getting a hold of anything else because that's limiting you. Sometimes you just have to have the freedom of letting something go in order that you can actually get a hold of the next thing. With kids, there are lots of letting go moments. When your baby is so little and you hold them in your arms and they're so sweet and soft and snuggly and dependent on you, within a year, they're crawling, they're walking, they're running. You've already had to let go of some things because now they have a level of independence when they gain that mobility. By the time they're 2 or 3 and they're yammering away and they have their own ideas and thoughts, and you're trying to get them to do what you would like them to do, and they don't want it, and no is their favorite word, and I do it, you have to let go of that little baby and accept that toddler, that developing personality. Certainly, by the time they go to preschool, or if you're blessed and you got to be a stay-at-home mom or dad until they were ready for kindergarten, when they go to kindergarten, so somewhere between 3 and 5, you have to let go again. And honestly, most parents do cry that day. A lot of kids do too. That's a certain letting go moment that can be extremely traumatic, but it is a moment that comes. Even if you homeschool, you have to let go of the freedom and craziness of those first couple of years of play and goofing around and just developing and go into this far more disciplined, almost more regimented, scheduled kind of lifestyle of the educational process. So you do have to let go. And heaven only knows when they become teenagers, there's a lot you got to let go of. Whoa, help me. There's so much to let go of because suddenly they are really their own person and they're going to let you know. And oftentimes, even a great kid will have a little bit of push, or a kid with a little trouble will have a lot of rebellion thrown into that part right there. And letting them go and letting them go gracefully, this is a big, big challenge. And as we have talked about, and we will continue to talk about in that young adult transition, once they've graduated from high school, once they're going to start going to college or get married, there is a lot of letting go. Let go, let go, let go. And so today, when we talk about letting go, I want you to know that all the way through life, there are literally dozens of letting go moments. Okay? You have to get kind of good at letting go. Now, let's talk about what that means and what it does not mean. It doesn't mean throw them out the door, open the door and kick them in the seat of the pants as they're on the way out. That's not letting go. Okay. It also doesn't mean, well, this is it, buddy. I mean, you're out of here, pal. It doesn't mean stealing yourself or having this kind of shut off, cold external reaction while your soul is crying. That's not what it means to let go in a healthy way. I mean, can you imagine doing that to a kindergarten? Not too many people, but I've seen lots of people do that to teenagers, to young adults. Yeah, it's not letting go correctly. All right. So you look at your life and you look at your child's life, and even if you've got a little baby right this minute in your arms, start getting emotionally and mentally prepared. There are parts of life coming where I'm going to need to be able to let go. And I want to be able to let go gracefully. I want to be able to let go with great love and affection to my child. All right? Prepare mentally. In fact, I'm going to ask you the challenge question right here. Am I any good at all at letting go? Because, very frankly, most people are not. So, let's talk about something where it's easy to tell and it's not quite so connected to your child if you're any good at letting go. Did you ever have a boyfriend or a girlfriend when you were like 14, 15, 16, and you were just wildly in love and you had big stars in your eyes and all these dreams? And then 6 or 8 months later, they broke up with you to go out with only who knows who, some other handsome dude or some really cute little babe. Did you have trouble letting go? Like, did you call them? Did you relentlessly think about them for months? Did you cry about it? Were you frantic emotionally? Yeah, you might be a person who really has trouble letting go. Even if the relationship wasn't great, at least you had somebody, and now you don't have somebody, and you can't really let go very well. Let me tell you, that would be me when I was young. I did not let go well. I had to learn. So when I say this to you, I really understand what I'm talking about, that you have to learn how to let go in a healthy way, both for your own benefit and the benefit of your child. All right, so you see some of the things that letting go is not. Letting go is also not like getting angry or feeding negative emotions in order that you can let go with less pain. That's a joke. It doesn't reduce the pain, it just masks the pain or covers it over with another emotion. I'm not saying there's not some anger or frustration or other thing in there. That's not what I'm telling you. But I'm saying if you're not really owning the real emotion, I feel really sad about this. I feel really disappointed about this. Yes, I do have some anger and frustration about this too. Then, if you're being truthful with yourself, and probably you don't need to have this conversation with a 5-year-old. You really don't. I'm so sad today. You're going to kindergarten. Really and truly, if you learn how to let go correctly, you can actually mix something else in there. Like, I'm so excited that you're growing up. This is great. This is an awesome day. You're going to make good new friends and you're going to learn so many wonderful things at school. That doesn't mean you're not sad. That doesn't mean you're in denial. It means you're showing support to your child. And oftentimes happiness and sadness go together. Oftentimes anger or frustration and a certain level of relief go together. That's not inconsistent with humanity. And so you can say to your child, yeah, I'm a little bit sad. I mean, it's a little sad that you're going to go away to school, but I'm still really happy for you. And I really am very excited about what's going to be happening for you now in your life. Okay, just tell the truth about where you are emotionally. Don't try to mask it and don't cover up difficult emotions with something else that's a little more comfortable or familiar with you. All right. You know how we talk about affection and the fact that you want to show your child the depths of your heart and the kindness of your heart and just the emotional fullness of your heart toward your child? Well, letting go is actually doing that. It is acknowledged that they're an individual person separate from you who is going to have an independent life separate from you. It's going to happen when they go away to school. It's going to happen when they go away as a teenager, to an emotional distance, oftentimes. It's definitely going to happen when they're an adult. So the question is not, is it going to happen, but what are you going to do when it does happen? How are you going to respond? And here's an even more important question. Are you going to facilitate your child making that next step as comfortably and smoothly as possible? Because as the parent, that is something you actually have control and responsibility for. I'm going to give you another illustration. A neighbor of mine recently shared with me that his 15-year-old started getting super rebellious. He wasn't going to do this. He wasn't going to do that. Oh, and his dad couldn't tell him, and if he tried to tell him, he was going to punch him out. My neighbor said that finally he looked at his son and he said, yeah, you're not going to do this here. If this is what you think you're going to do, then you're going to be going to your mom's because you're not going to do it here. That was a very appropriate response as a parent. Look, you don't want to follow the rules of this house. You don't want to cooperate here. And you give them a month or two to get back in line and they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Well, I'm really sorry, but yes, you can go live at your mom's house, or you can go live at your dad's, or you can go live at your Aunt Sally's house. You aren't doing it here. Really, it's very appropriate, and it's tough. We go back and look at the episode on tough love. We're never going to deny that this is tough, but you have to let them go. And if where they're going to go is down a really bad road, you don't have to walk down that bad road with them, and you don't have to support them on that journey, just so you know. You let them know my door is always open. I'm going to be happy to welcome you back, but you're going to come back to my house, then you're going to live responsibly inside of my walls. If you can't do that, then I'm really sorry to say you're liable to have to leave. But in a more normal situation where a teenager starts really pushing your buttons and pushing their limits, you need to be able to say to them, I recognize that you want a greater level of independence. I really get that. That would be totally normal. But you're only 13. You're not ready for quite that level of independence yet. So let's negotiate the terms of independence. Yes, you can go hang out with your friends at the mall or go play games at so and so's house, but you still have to be home by 11 o'clock. You're only 13 years old. Certainly on school nights, you've got to be home by 9:30. I realize you're not going to like it. I understand that a part of your personality and nature, you're going to want to, fight with me about that and push your limits. But let me tell you, that's it. And you don't follow those rules. You already understand how it works in our house. There are going to be consequences. So you negotiate those terms with them and you do let them go and you do acknowledge where they are. But it doesn't have to be an all or nothing, you're going to stay at home, I said, no matter what, or go ahead, I don't really care what you do. There's this negotiation and limit setting process. I already shared with you when they're 17 or 18 years old, really very soon they're going to leave your house. You've got to do the best job of letting go gracefully that you possibly can. So oftentimes in their senior year, you need to do the contract, which we've spoken about before, where you allow them to start to live sort of as an adult with a number of their own responsibilities, and you are the overseer. And if they really push and break the rules, then they have consequences for that too. But in general, you're letting them start to develop maturity and responsibility and what that looks like in their own life. Definitely when your child goes away to college, even if you're footing the bill, or if they leave home and get an apartment with a friend or two and start to work, you have to let go. That means you say to them, you're a young adult now. Please don't be calling me for cash every week. You're working. If you choose to live here, that's great, and we'll negotiate that. But you're not here. Don't be calling me for cash every week. You need to take care of yourself. You're a young adult. Then you need to also tell them. That doesn't mean if you have problems with friends or you have problems with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, a significant relationship, that you don't come to me or you don't call me or you can't depend on me. That's not what I mean. But in general, I'm going to respect the fact that as a young adult, you're going to live your life and you let them do it. You show them support, you give them encouragement, you talk to them, you let them know how much you love them, but you let them go. Last but not least, big deal. So your daughter and your son, they get married. Let them go. It's not your marriage. It isn't your life. It isn't your relationship. Don't be one of those wretched, meddling in-laws. Get out of there. Leave it alone. That's their relationship. If your daughter or your son is constantly calling you, complaining about their spouse, one of the most productive and healthy ways to let go is to say, I understand you're having some trouble. And actually, I don't have any problems at all listening to you, but I'm not going to listen to you complain because you're just bringing up all this negative emotion in your own marital relationship. And I'm not going to give you advice if you don't ask me for it. In other words, you're whining and crying and complaining. Maybe you're looking for something, but I'm not giving you advice unless you ask me. So if you say, Mom, I'm really struggling with blank when he blanks, I can answer. Or Dad, I'm really having a hard time when she blanks and I want to, what should I do? I will give you counsel or advice if you ask me. But you can't call me up and whine and cry at me because I'm not going to listen to that. It isn't healthy for your marital relationship, and I want you to have a great marriage. Otherwise, stay out of it. Let your young person go. Let them develop their own life. Let them make their own mistakes, which they're going to do. And let them find the beauty of who they are in relationship to someone else. I know we covered a lot of ground today pretty quickly, But I want you to understand that a part of life is learning how to let go. Thank you for being with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.